Oh, I see Rav Dov is on. We got a real Chumash night tonight. We need all the help we could get. A lot of history. A lot of history over here. Yeah, we can't start with us about another week. That is true.
What happened?
No, starting to be Maver Sedra with Zayis HaBracha is really not supposed to be done till Hoshana Rabbah.
We'll finish it tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
What?
We're finishing it tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
Okay, Mazel Tov. Good for you. Are you starting Bereshis?
No, we're not going to stop. I don't know what we're going to do. That's
Yom
not my, that's not my call. That's David Shine's call. It's not my.
Okay, so let's see. So we are up to Amar Rabbi Elazar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up from the bottom. Yeah, so Amar Rabbi Elazar, continuing last night, that you go, what do we call it? Guilty by association, maybe? I don't know if that's exactly the description. But Amar Rabbi Elazar, Loilam Yidabik Adam B'Toivim. Keep with good people. This is also a very interesting Gemara here to start off the year, if we call the new year after Yom Kippur over here. Right? A person should stick with good people, because Moshe Rabbeinu did a shidduch with Yisro's daughter, who was a big Avodah Zarah. Right? Yatzim Mimenu Yonason. And so of that came Yonason, who was, like we learned in yesterday's daf, he was a grandson of Moshe Rabbeinu, says the Rashbam, right? That's Mucha from the Gemara. So he had an Eina called Yonason, who was Ivan Avodah Zarah, at least initially. Aaron, Shanasa Bas Aminadav, but Aaron HaKohen, who married the daughter of Avinadav. Right?
What did Yonason do?
He did Avodah Zarah with yesterday with Micha. They hired him to do. He became the Avodah Zarah, right?
How many generations after Moshe?
What?
How many generations after Moshe?
You have that book. You look in the book.
Yeah, it's Ben Benai. He says Ben Benai, his grandson. Moshe Rabbeinu's grandson.
With Micha?
What? Yeah. What's the problem? Micha?
I just thought it was like years and
no,
years.
I know we think it's like years and years later. It's not that much later. Yeshua Shoftim, it's not that many years later.
Yeshua Shoftim, Micha is in Shoftim?
Yes.
I thought Micha was after David. Okay, I don't know.
No, before. Right, so anyways, so Aaron Shenos Bas Aminadav, so Aaron, who married the daughter of Aminadav, Yotzim Menu Pinchas, he had an enical like Pinchas. Right? So Pinchas was Pinchas. He's Ben Benoy Shel Aaron.
What was wrong with Pinchas?
Nothing. That's what we're saying. Aaron did a good shidduch. Let's just call it that way. Aaron did a meyuchas shidduch. Moshe Rabbeinu married a balas tshuva or a giyaris or whatever. And Mamela, he had an anicle that was bad, and Aaron had an anicle that was good. That's the way that you learn the Gemara at the surface level. What you want to do with this vertlich wise, I have no idea. I am not smart enough to do anything like that, and I think I'm smart enough to not be makabel any spin. That's the problem. Chas v'shalom. I hate to say it like that, but meaning I like to take these gemaras at face value and finish. Now we're gonna see in the next Gemara that Yonason did tshuva.
We're not trying to say anything that Pinchas is anything but a tzaddik.
Well, not but wait a couple lines. You see that not everybody was so happy with Pinchas.
But right now he's a tzaddik. Yes.
Who? Pinchas. Right now,
the people were against him. No, so
yeah. Right now, Pinchas is a tzaddik. That's all. That's what we're doing right now.
Right now, we're pro Pinchas. Yes.
We're 5 words in, and they complain about me.
Wait for the prequel.
Yeah, that's right.
What happened?
No,
we're 5 words in, and they complain about me.
Cash, and I told somebody this morning, and it's not negated to you, but I was very happy for the Bachram from Tel Aviv Yeshiva. They could possibly go to a playoff game because it's not $1 zillion. But you're not going. It's not negated to you. But
the Cleveland Bachram.
Yeah, the Cleveland Bachram. I didn't look at the schedule. I'm just saying price-wise.
Which sport?
Soccer.
Baseball.
Madrid, but Barcelona and Madrid are playing Colomoid in Cleveland.
Okay, whoever's listening to this stuff is going to enjoy it.
Yeah. But anyways, so Pinchas, so now Aaron was Zeicha to Pinchas, Moshe was Zeicha, if you can call it that, to Yonason. Right, so Pinchas Lami Yisrael, was Pinchas not from Yisrael? Baksiv ve'Elazar ben Aharon lokach la'im benois Potiel loy Isha. Right, and Elazar ben Aaron took from the daughters of Potiel and he took it loy Isha. Right, so who's Potiel? Relax, Naftali. Don't my love. Dasi mi Yisrael shepitim agolim lavodah zara. Isn't the name Potiel come from the word pit to fatten up? That they fattened up the cows for avodah zara. So, even though Aaron didn't do a shidduch with Yisroi, but his son Elazar did do a shidduch.
His mother.
Pinchas ben Elazar, right. Yes, and that's Pinchas's mother. Yes. So the Gemara says, "No, loy da'asi mi Yosef." He came from Yosef. So now, why are they called Potiel? Shapitput v'Yitzroi. I didn't understand this one either. Pitput is because he fought with his tivus for what's it called? Eshes Patifa, right?
Right.
So so what exactly is the word pitput? What does that mean?
And he struggled with his Yetzer Hara, whatever, with his desires, and he overcame them.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Isn't that word the makar for the English for what's it called? Ayin Hara? We're using it against Yetzer Hara here, but he like spat at his Yetzer Hara.
What do you mean? He fought with his Yetzer Hara.
Yeah, but in such a way. That's the English for Yetzer for Ayin Hara. The same word, pitfit.
Right.
That's where it comes from.
And but so pitput is, I guess it means that he was fighting with it. So they're calling this. So that's okay, fine. Then the Gemara says, "V'lo shvatim mevazen oisai." Right, but the shvatim were mevazen Pinchas. Right. Reisem ben Poitizeh. Do you see the son of Poti? Ben shepitim abi ima golam l'avodah zara. Look at this guy. They were very unhappy that he killed Zimri. Right. So they're saying, look at this guy who's an enekul of avodah zara. So Yarek Nasi Shevet Yisrael, and he went and he killed a Nasi from the Shevet of Yisrael. So that's clear and pashut that they called him an enekul of Yisrael. On to Aleph. Ella Iyavua de'ime me Yosef. Either his mother, the father of his mother, was from Yosef, right? Ima de'ime me Yisrael, and his mother's mother was from Yisrael. That's one choice. Iyavua de'ime me Yisrael, or his mother's father was from Yisrael, and Ima de'ime me Yosef, and his mother from Yosef. So he had Epis Yisrael in him, but he was a couple of Dairis. He was great. He was great. No, one great. Yeah.
The Rashbam says, by the way, the Rashbam says it could be 4 or 5 generations.
Right.
It was great. That's what I'm saying. So he's great. Right? Okay, whatever the numbers are. Point is that he was much further removed from Yisro than Moshe Rabbeinu was. So basically, he was an anacle of Aaron, and he was a great of, or maybe one more great, whatever it is, of Yisro. So Mamela, the Aaron, Mamela Aaron won. It trumps it. He wins out. It says mi benois plural patil tarti, which sounds like two shmamino. Right, so we learn from this that it's two, right? That it's further down the road. Yeah. Now I don't know. I thought that's what I thought, but and the Rashbam says that the way you spell patil with the yud, without a yud, can be mashma.
I think one is from Yisro and one is from Yosef. That's why the double lashon.
Well,
the plural.
I mean, that's what the plural's coming to tell you.
I think so.
And I think that's what the Rashbam means.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 points. It's not the plural. Isn't this isn't from Benois. It's only from Patil. Benois, Yisrael had 7 daughters. That makes sense. It's Patil. The Yud of these 2 putis.
The Rashbam says 2 different pshatim.
Right. Rashbam has 2 pshat. The first pshat is Patil without the Yud. Meaning, if it doesn't say without the Yud, meaning it says it with the Yud, it's 2 pituyim. Right? Or the word Benois. Okay, whatever it is. Fine. Then we get into a famous Gemara over here. Amar Rava, Isha tzarach sheyivdik b'acher.
Oh, wow.
You marry a girl, check into her brothers. Shanemar vayikach Aaron es Elisheva bas Aminadav achos Nachshon. And Aaron took Elisheva bas Aminadav, the sister of Nachshon. Imashu Shanemar bas Aminadav any adeh shachu Nachshoni. If it's bas Aminadav, so don't you know that it's Nachshon's sister? Right? You have to check into the brothers. Right? Which is mashma that the Aaron looked into the shidduch because he liked the brother. Right? He must have been in yeshiva with this guy, and he said, "Oh, this guy's a good guy. Maybe he has a sister."
They're not only one brother; it's acheha. It's the brothers.
Oh, so right. So that's right. So very good. That's the next Gemara.
Okay.
Right. So
but
then
that's what the word is.
Very good. Very good. Now,
maybe one's good, one's bad. We got thing
so
1 and thing 2.
Oh, so very good. So look at the next
How do
line.
you tell from the Gemara whether it's plural or singular? It's either acheha or achiha. It could be either from the Gemara.
Because the yud. Acha would be her.
Achi is a brother. Ach is a brother. Acheha or achiha. Either way would have a yud.
Article says acheha. That's how you know.
Right. Lamaisa.
Yeah. Okay, I get it from Art Scroll. Yeah.
What he's saying, dictic wise, maybe it's her brother, not brothers. Is that what Gershon was saying?
What? Yeah.
If it's achiha, it's her brother. Acheha is her brothers.
Right. Well, it's the next Gemara. Right. It's the next Gemara. Tana roiv banim diamond lachei. Now, I don't know, what does this mean? That's the question. How do you teach this now? Roiv banim. So is that like Rachamim saying that you go with the majority of the brothers, or do we say no? In most cases, meaning not all cases is the sister like the brother.
The sister or the nephews?
What?
Roiv banim la'achia.
Brothers of the mother, no?
Isn't Roiv banim referring to your kids?
Yeah, your kids will come out like your wife's
Your son,
brother.
Like,
I thought that was the heel line.
What?
The heel line goes after the heel loss goes after your mother's brothers.
Is that so?
That's what I heard.
Not mine.
I think it's mother's father. Mother's father, genetically.
Gemara, Naftali.
What?
That's a different Gemara, not this
It's
one.
a mother's father?
Yeah, genetically it goes from the parents, not from the siblings. But I think that's true. I think they say male baldness goes from the mother's.
I hear.
Well, the brothers.
It could be also.
Sure.
It could be also that. It. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
it
know.
came straight from the Abishter.
I think there's a video on YouTube. Somebody asked Reb Chaim this about this Gemara. Like, how do you know if the brother, like, how do you check the brothers? You guys saw this video? It's fascinating. He said, Reb Chaim said if they're normal. And the guy said, how do you know if they're normal? And he said, if they know how to learn.
Is that the one where he said Baruch Shepetrani when the guy left? Is that one?
I think so.
Might have been. I don't know. Yeah.
What if you ever read Torah's history, maybe stay away.
It was a
So
great
anyways,
grandson of Reb Chaim. That's why he let him have Reb
Yeah,
Chaim to hot
the guy asked Reb Chaim for a bracha. That's when he said Baruch Shepetrani.
I have very good. Very good. I should do that. Anyway, so the Gemara is saying is Roiv Banim are similar to the brothers, meaning if a guy wants to know what his kids are going to look like, his kids are going to look like his brothers-in-law or his future brothers-in-law, right? So it's Roiv, but it's a Roiv though, right? That's what the Gemara means. It's only a majority.
I don't know. Baruch Hashem, only one of mine does.
Yeah. I don't know. We're not gonna go with that.
You're being recorded. I live around the corner from your house.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's just a Roiv. Okay. Fine. Weiter. Then the pasuk says,
After we get to Acharavim Hatais, we said, oh, no, all of a sudden that's thrown out the window. It's only Roiv. Okay, fine, we're okay.
Here. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, now we're back to Yonason and Micha, the story with the Ovid of Adazar, right? We said that Micha made a getchka, and he hired some ger who ended up being Yonason. Not a ger meaning a traveling guy. And then Don, the Cheshevet Don took it over. Right? And they gave it to Yonason. V'yasuru mi aviacha haloim. And this is what they were selling him. They came and told Yonason, who brought you here? What do you mean? Basically, they're interrogating. What are you doing over here? Amrulai. So basically, what they were saying, what does this pasuk mean? Lavmi Moshe causes, aren't you from Moshe? Dichsiv be al tikrav haloim. Don't come here, meaning don't touch the sneh. Lavmi Moshe causes dichsiv be maze biyodecha. When also Hashem, when Hashem gave the mata to Moshe and he turned it into a stick, so he says, "What's in your hand?" Lavmi Moshe causes dichsiv be va'ata poi amoidi modi. And now you're standing here. That's talking about Paraser Sadibris. So Tasa Kohen Lavoi Dezara. You're going to become a Kohen Lavoi Dezara, right? It's the classic thing, you get the anacle of some yichus and he's not behaving, and they go, "Oh, you know who you come from," and da 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 da. Right? They're doing the same thing, right? So if the kid would have been from Lakewood, if Yonason would have been from Lakewood, I always say this story to people. But he would have said back to him, "And you guys, so what do you think? You're from Dunn. What are you doing over the Zara?" Right? One of my kids were in Florida once in a hotel. So they go swimming early in the morning before the preachers come. So they met a guy from 5 towns who recognized my kid and says, "Your father knows you're in this pool area." So my son, from being from here, just respectful to adults, said, "Yeah, my father knows I'm here." And my nephew from Lakewood says, "And you, what are you doing here?" Right? Just the difference in they're so much quicker and on the ball in Lakewood. They're just like, my husband, okay, you gotta right. So I guess Yonason was from the 5 towns or Farakaway because he didn't give it right back at him, right? So anyway, so he said back to them, so Yonason said back to them, This is what I got from my Zayda, from Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? A person should rent himself out to avodah zarah, and he should not have to come on to brius. Shouldn't come on to collecting tzedakah. Right? So yeah, so what does this mean exactly? Right?
Is
So
that true? Is that true?
Oh, so we'll have to see. Meaning, let's see the next Gemara. But the Rashbam says, as long as the guys, whatever, I'll bring whatever. I had a thought when I was learning this Gemara. Meaning, but he's saying to him, yeah, he thought it meant to do avodah zarah, mamish. Who saw avodah zarah, mamish? He thought it meant to actual avodah zarah. V'lohi el avodah zarah, avodah shezara loy. What Moshe Rabbeinu meant is rather take a job that's zara to you, that's strange to you. Meaning you have people, unfortunately, they lose their job and this and that. Nobody should ever know from it. And then they say, I can't take this job. It's below my dignity. So what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying is rather take an avodah that's zara to you, that's strange to you, than to take handouts. Yonason learned that no, you can even go do avodah zarah as long as you don't take handouts. Which Rashbam points out, he didn't mean that you're actually doing avodah zarah. He meant that you work for avodah zarah. You're not going to actually. You're going to fake it. Basically, you're going to fake it.
The right term would have been malacha zara then, not avodah zarah.
Okay, true.
Then you go work in a church.
True. Right.
Manufacturing
that's what he thought.
in Brooklyn.
The Rashbam in the first wide line says it clearly. Shehi zara loy. Hu choshev v'hamalacha is what? Is not good, not choshev for him. It's below his dignity.
Yeah.
The first wide line.
Right. Very good. Right. So it's below his dignity, but the line before that also is important. When he said Yaskar rented, when it says Yonason rented himself out, he says Ela shaloye li by avodah, meaning you're just gonna walk the walk, talk the talk. You know what this reminds me of? Way back, I mean, obviously it was before I was born. 50, 60 years ago, how many Fruma people became Rabbanim in the conservative and the reform? They weren't conservative and reform, but they took the job because they needed the parnasa. Right? They themselves are regular erlicha. I mean, I don't know. Some people had big tainas on them, but be'etzem.
So we're saying that's the right thing to do?
No. It's the wrong thing. L'chayr, it's the wrong thing to do. But that's what Yonason justified it by saying, as long as my heart's not into avodah zarah, better do that than to take handouts. That was Yonason's justification. But he was misreading the whole thing. It didn't say you should go to avodah zarah. It meant, Rachman's kasha notwithstanding, it meant that take an avodah that's zara to you. Right? Better what you should do is take, cut up nevelas in the shuk and take your money. And don't say, I'm a big man. And it's below my dignity to do a job. Right?
I have a question on this one. Isn't that a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos that you shouldn't? That this is this exact line of Rav Torah of Kahana. So I'm just wondering, like, the Gemara is bringing this as a raya, but what can't you just assume that everyone in the Gemara knows all the Mishnayos? Then he should have known this already.
This is pre Gemara.
This is pre-Mishnah, but
this is Yonason. This is a conversation. This is what Yonason did. Yonason. You're saying he should have known this from his grandfather.
From the Mishnah, no?
Yeah, but no, but this is way before. They had it, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know what all the spin, what they knew, what they didn't know. I don't know. Got to take it at face value that he didn't know this. All right?
Right, okay.
So, besides that, a lot of us know this, and we all have this thing that we're not going to take menial jobs.
No, I guess I just got confused because we always say that. Well, the way I always understood it was that all the Mishnayos are just recordings of everything that they already knew, and
Right.
there was taught. It was just recorded it, but I guess we don't know exactly what they knew and didn't know.
Yeah, so anyway, but that's what he's saying. So that was the mistake that he made from his grandfather. Anyways, then we get into Mamish Chinuch. This next Gemara is Mamish a major Chinuch. Kivan Shirah David Shemam and Chavav B'Yaiser. So since David, which was much later, saw that Yonason liked money.
You just told me before.
It was late. This is much later.
This is a different Yonason?
No, same Yonason.
He's Moshe's grandson, and he lived to David Melech?
Yeah, it's not that much.
What's the big deal?
Check the charts. I don't think it's
What's the big deal?
I don't know what the
David is 10 generations from Rus. No?
And so the guy was 500, and what's the big deal? What is the big deal?
Okay.
It's a particular problem because in Shmuel it calls him a nar, Yonason.
right.
So,
He was Shaul's
so
best friend.
so he was stupid. He was old and stupid. No.
No, he was 17. It
You
shows how old he was.
happen to know some people like that, so don't be so surprised.
That's why I was questioning before.
I don't know. I thought maybe there were two different Yoinasons. Originally, I
The
thought
Pasuk says the Yonason was 17 years old when David met him,
right.
which is a shtickle an issue as far as Moshe Rabbeinu is concerned. Gershom was born before he was the Bris story. Gershom was born on Moshe Rabbeinu's way back to Mitzrayim. When Moshe Rabbeinu was 79 years old, Gershom was born. So he went through the 40 years of the Midbar. He was 41 now. And then Yeshua, Kibbush V'Chilik, he's now 54. And then another 7 generations later. He can't be 17.
Enochanami. I don't know. I don't know how it all works historically. I don't know.
You
But
can
anyway,
always
so
call on B'nai Bonim, Nikra Bonim, and then, a great a son and a great grandson and a great great grandson is also called a son.
But then it goes down to
I
Kaina
know.
Moshe Rabbeinu. You're going to go 20 generations to Kaina that he had a bad great.
Ich weiß nicht. I have no idea. I don't know. Anyways, so Kivan, but then we get into a major chinuch thing. Kivan Shirah David Shemam and Chavav B'Yaiser. He saw that the money, he loved money, Minei ala Eitzrus. So he appointed him on the Eitzrus of the treasury. He became treasury secretary of David HaMelech. Shenemar Ushvuel ben Gershom ben Menashe Nogir al Eitzrus. Shavuel, the son of Gershom, who was the son of Moshe. You see, he was an Anakel.
Menashe.
What? Menashe, I'm sorry. Well,
He
no,
decided mine, he changes it to Moshe.
right. Some change. It's because Menashe gets into this too from yesterday's Gemara. Yeah. So it's change. The Maseres Hashas changed it to Moshe.
Okay.
All right. It's interesting. The Maseres Hashas' source is Bechol Haksuvim. Bechol Haksuvim. It's Moshe, and the Tosfos says Moshe. Right. And why don't you call him Menashe like yesterday's Gemara? So Tosfos says because he already did tshuva. Bechol Liboy, that's an interesting one too. He did tshuva bechol Liboy. Right? Mashma that there's such a thing as tshuva, not chol Liboy. On this day after Yom Kippur. So I think what it has to do is maybe with the Rashbam. I was thinking it has to do with the Rashbam, because the Rashbam said that he did avodah zara as long as it wasn't beliboy. It wasn't beliboy. He did it, right? He went through the motions, but he didn't really believe it. So maybe we're afraid that he did tshuva, and he also really didn't do it be'emes. Meaning it's a shtickle of faker. So Tais is saying, no, he did a tshuva b'chol libay. It's my own little spin. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyways, so it says, Shmuel ben Gershom ben Moshe Nagid ala Eitzros. V'chi Shmuel Shemai v'ala Yonason Shemai. His name wasn't Shmuel. His name was Yonason. Amar Yochanan sheshav lekel b'chol libay. Right, the Gemara. The Tais is calling the Gemara, but he did tshuva to Hashem b'chol libay, with his whole heart. Right.
What's the chiddush? He had a title for money.
No, so David HaMelech recognized that this guy likes money, and therefore he
put him in charge of all the money.
Correct. Meaning you're channeling when somebody sees that he has a certain, what do you call it, drive or chush or natiya to something, so you get him to go down that road. You put him in that area, right?
By the way, Rabbi Yaakov the Rashbam asked the question about how he lived so long.
Yes, this next
So that
Rashbam is about
they
to say.
on that question, and he said because he dissuaded people from doing Avodah Zarah. That was part. I guess that was part of his doing Tshuva Shlema.
What do you mean? So therefore, what?
He not only he eventually reached the point where Imamish made people turn away from Avodah Zarah.
He went into Kiruv.
That's right.
More than Kiruv,
being a shliach is a school of arichas yomim. That's what he's saying.
A shliach? What do you mean?
About shliach.
No, I'm saying somebody who convinces people to return to Hashem.
How to make a mean brisket, and yet it's a school of arichas yomim. Yeah.
I'm not getting involved in being Chabad or not. I'm just saying,
okay.
Yeah, you should help people go back to Hashem. Yeah, that's true.
There's action back on.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know. The Rashbam goes through a shtickle about how it works, how you can fit it all into the years. Right? Anyways, okay, that's the agadata / hard part, easy part of the Gemara, whichever, however you look at these things. Okay, right. And now back to Yerusha. Habonim Esa'av. So the sons, right? The most basic standard Yerusha din is that sons yarshin the father. How do we know? Minolan. Tichsev Ishki Yomas. Pasuk says, Ishki Yomas ubein ein lo. If a person dies and he doesn't have kids. Right, we had this pasuk yesterday's daf also. You pass over or you push over his inheritance to his daughter. Taima de ein loy ben. So the reason why the daughter yarshins the father is because there's no son. Hayesh loy ben koydem. But if there's a son, right, the son goes first. Right, so that's the makar, pretty straight out makar that the son goes before the daughter. Right, so you see a son, Yashin's the father. So Amrale Rav Papa Abaya, Papa said to Abaya, Ema Ika ben Liras, then Ben. Let's say then Liras Ben, I'm sorry. If there's a son to Yashin, so then the son will Yashin. Ika Bas, Tiras Bas. And if there's a daughter, the daughter will yashin. Ika ben ubas. If there's a son and a daughter, loy high liras, loy high liras, then neither one will inherit. This is Rav Papa's kasha to Abaye, which doesn't sound. It's hard to understand. What do you mean? We're saying that if there's a son, he yashins. If there's an only daughter, she yashins. If there's a son and a daughter, then nobody yashins. Which is the Gemara immediately asks. Ve'ela, so the Gemara says,
okay. Stop all fights. That's what Papa
yeah, but then who's going to yashin?
He's just concerned about the fight. Stopping all fights right now.
Maybe you're going back to Europe, Papa. Okay, very good. Bella, man. Now this is interesting. What's this v'chulu doing over here? All right, so the Masoras Shash changes it to boy. Right, and Bach, the chulu just takes it out. Right, because v'chulu is normally said after a quote, and you just like it second, etc. Anyways, man liras. So Abaye said back to the Papa. So who's going to yashin this guy when he has multiple kids? Atu bar kosha de masalera is the city, which is exactly what happens, right? The state is going to yashin. So the Gemara. So the Papa answered back to Abaye. This is what I meant. Iko ben ubas. If there's a son and a daughter, loy ha'liras kuli v'loy ha'liras kuli, neither one gets the whole thing. Elaki adadi l'rasei, they both get the Yerusha. Right? They have to share it. So that was this kasha. Not that the boy should get everything. Right? We know that the boy gets everything when there's a sister. So Rapapa is saying, no, maybe the pasuk means that when there's only a boy, so he gets everything. But when there's both, they have to split it. So Abaye said back
to this is why his kids are mentioned in 100.
That's what Naftali just said. Naftali just mumbled that to me. You couldn't hear him. So yeah, very good. You and Naftali thinking alike. I don't know what kind of tshuva you did, but yeah. So yeah, I know. I can see what kind of tshuva I did. Yeah. So Abaye, do we need a pasuk to tell us that the hechad delesle elachad bra l'rasinu? You need Is it? We need a pasuk to tell you that when there's only one child that he yashins everything. What would you think? Why don't we say that the daughter? Maybe the chiddush is that the daughter is also bas Yerusha. So it says no. Bas that we know from a different pasuk. It says a daughter can inherit. Okay, so that's the pasha source that a son yarshins the father, because it says if there's no son, then the daughter does. But Ravacha Bar Yaakov says from here, Lama Yigora Shem Avinu Mitach Mishpachta Ki Ein Loi Ben. This is talking about the Bnei Tzlavcha, right? So they were not happy because their father, they couldn't yashin their father. So they basically, however you understand this, changed the Torah. Right? So why should we lose from our family because our father doesn't have a son? It's a time of day in Loi Ben. The only reason why the Bnei Tzlavcha had a taina is because there was no son. Hayesh Loi Ben. But if there was a son, Ben Kaidim, then the son goes first. Right? So you see that a son, Yashin's first. So the Gemara says,
They're worried about being they're worried about losing it when they get married.
Whatever it is.
They're worried about losing
but
it.
The point is that if there would have been a boy, they would get nothing.
Okay.
So that's what, so you see it's that the boy does Yashin. So we know from Bnei Tzlavcha. So Gemara asks the Dilma B'nai Tzlavcha who the Kamarachi. Maybe it's B'nai Tzlavcha saying it on their own. Nitna Torah v'nischat halacha, and then once the Torah was given, because the B'nai Tzlavcha was before the Torah was given. So then once the Torah was given, the halacha was changed, whatever the halacha was. Meaning maybe the B'nai Tzlavcha thought that a boy should yash. But maybe once the Torah was given, that's not true. Maybe the boy does not yash. So it's clear that we go with the first teretz. And this is not a good source that a son inherits. Ravina Amar Mehacha, Hakarav love. It says those that are close to him, Hakarav Karav Kaidim. Whoever is closer goes first. Okay, so then this, I think Zev Bold was asking this yesterday. And who defines who the Karav is? Right, so that's what really the Gemara asks this. My kurva de ben bimas. What is the kurva of a son more than a daughter? Shaben kam tachas avivli adu l'sada steyachuza. Right, like we said 2 blot ago, a son can do yiyud. Right, that's if the father buys himself a Jewish slave, so the father can just marry her without having to give her any more money. And if he doesn't want, the son can do it. So that's yiyud and steyachuza. Right, and all the inheritance goes through the son. Meaning, if this father donates the field to the Beis Hamikdash, the son has the right to redeem it. Ya'ada, bas lav bas yadahi. A daughter is obviously not a bas yud because it's marrying a woman. Ste'achuz nami, and ste'achuz also mehai pircha gufa hu the kaimel latana. We only know ste'achuza goes to the son from Yibum, from the Kasha we have from Klum Yesh Yibum Elamakim Shein Ben. And we said that there's no Yibum only when there's a son. This was from Erev Yom Kippur's Daf. Actually, Yom Kippur's Daf. Right? So, meaning the whole Shakel Bataria there is all based because of Yibum, some Amela, but it could very well be that a daughter could theoretically be paid to stay achuza. Right? So therefore it's not necessarily a raya, so again we slug up that it's like the earlier pshat. Or a fourth pshat could be this is talking about Eved Kanani, right? Which you can just, a guy dies, the Eved Kanani goes to his next of kin, as we call it. So you give the Eved Kanani the b'neichem acharechem. It says b'neichem, but loy b'noisechem. It says you give over the Eved to your sons and not to your daughters. Okay, elamat elaman yirbu yemechem v'mei v'neichem. When it says for the end of Vahaya that anybody that keeps the Torah is going to have long days, and the days and his kids are also. Does that also mean your sons and not your daughters? can't mean that. So the same thing here. When it says you can give over Eved Kanani to B'nechem, it's just including even women. So when it says bracha shani, bracha is different. Because why would you think that a bracha for good kids or kids living a long life should go to the boys any more than it should go to the girls? Right, but Yerusha, maybe it would. Okay, so bottom line is we have two pshatim of two sources for that the son yarshins the father, and the middle two sources we slugged up. Okay, next one in the Mishnah is that brothers from the father inherit each other and they give over to each other. I mean, it's a two-way street, brothers from the father. Minalan, how do you know this? Amar Rabba Asya Achva Achva Mibnei Yaakov, because we learned it out from the Shvatim. Right? Malahalan Mina Avaleminaim. There, the Shvatim all had the same father, but they had four different mothers. Avka Mina Avaleminaim. So too by Yerusha, it's Gzer Shava from the word Achva, that it has to do with the father, not from the mother. So Gemara says, "V'lamali, what do I need that for?" Similar thing that we had in the Gemara from yesterday. It says from his family, and he yarshins. Mishpachas av kriya mishpacha. Your father's family is considered mishpacha. Mishpachas aim ain't a kriya mishpacha. The mishpacha of a mother is not considered a mishpacha. So why don't we just say that you're yarshin, the only brothers from the father? So our answer is Enochanami. That's true. The Rabba mitmar. When Rabba was talking about the Gzeira Shava, that was going on. It wasn't talking about Yerusha, because that we know it goes with the father. We know that from the word Mishpach. Right? What's it talking about by Yibum? Right? That by Yibum you go, it's the brothers, it's the brother from the father, that's the Yibum, not a brother from the mother. Right? Didn't we? I know I should remember the Gemara from yesterday, but what do we end up saying with the Gemara tried to slug up Mishpacha?
It slugged it up. It brought a riot that to call from the mother. It's also Mishpacha. It brought a riot. I was waiting for the Gemara to say something. It said the mother is also Mishpacha.
Right, that's what I thought we left off.
That's what we left off. That's what I remember.
Didn't we leave off the maskana that the mother is called Mishpacha?
That's what I remember.
You didn't?
I think that's the way we left it off, but I don't think that's ultimately the pshat in the Gemara. The pshat in the Gemara
that means we have to go back and do yesterday's daf again?
That Ra Tachas Ra, that ultimately the Gemara said the reason it said Mimishpachas is because Shas Maisa Menashe.
I know, but the Gemara.
The kasha was it says Mishpachas Yehuda.
I mean, we gave it a different way. I mean, we gave it a different spin. I hear.
Yehuda. His mother came from Yehuda. We called him Mishpachas Yehuda.
Right, but no. So that, I think what Gershon's saying is that the Maskanas Gemara is that the reason why it called him Yehuda was for a different reason. Right.
It wasn't stam because Mishpachas ain't Kriya Mishpacha. It was because Asa Maisa Menashe. We said Mishpachas Yehuda.
Right. Right. So it comes out the Maskana. It's not clear, but
so when you tell when you have to go to
not.
Mother's family's weddings, you say it's not Mishpachah at the end.
What?
To go to your mother's side family weddings, you say it's not Mishpachah.
It seems like the way the way this Gemara is learning it, certainly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop over here.
Should go here.
Let's say it till Yud Gimel.